So as project managers, the success of risk assessment is defined by how quickly and accurately you and your team can determine the priority of each risk. After all, we want to spend most of our time on reducing the biggest risks. How do you put a value against a risk in a way that is both clear and easy for your team to understand and also helps drive an efficient risk management approach? So last time I introduced the trio of pairs approach, which groups our identification, assessment and response phases into these three pairs. The first group concerned with stopping or at least reducing the likelihood of the event even happening, and the second group about reducing how much it matters if it does. The risk assessment phase, though, is vital. This is what allows us to focus our attention on the highest priority risks, those that will have the biggest adverse effect on our project. And this priority is going to be a combination of how likely and how severe each risk is. So, should we use numbers or words in our assessment? Well, words are great because people can easily relate to them and understand what your scale is. However, numbers are also essential so that you can put manageable values to each risk, which allows your tools or your spreadsheets to sort and filter your risks effectively. So my answer is always use both. And to do so, define a very clear scale that you, your team, and anyone else involved in your risk assessment can readily reference and easily understand. So I always start with some quite generic words. In fact, these words are from my very own risk log template. And what I want to emphasize, though, is the language and the scale that I'm using and why. So looking at the likelihood scale, the words I've used aren't very specific. In fact, they're deliberately vague. My workshop participants will, however, inherently understand the difference between a risk that is highly likely and a risk that is very unlikely. But also it reinforces the really important point that we need to be accurate but not precise. These are risks that haven't even happened yet, so we have no way of being precise at this moment in time. And these words relate to the numbers that our tools can use to more readily sort and filter the risks. And I always use a nice broad range. In this example, there's no point encouraging arguments about whether a risk is 75 or 82.5% likely. Again, we're encouraging a really good reasoned guess, not statistical certainty. The same applies with my severity scale. Again, I've used more words, but they're easily understood statements which describe the impact and a simple numeric scale. Now, this is a very generic example, and of course, it's really important to tailor these words to your projects. For example, make more reference to what major means in terms of the time, quality, or cost impact of each risk. But keep in mind the importance of encouraging a really quick, reasoned estimate rather than over-analysing unnecessarily precise ratings. So a combination of words and numbers, a simple scale, and encouraging your teams to make reasoned estimates will set you up for success in assessing your project risks. My final tip is to make sure you review and manage your risks regularly. Those reasoned estimates may change as the project and the environment around you changes. So I hope you found that useful, and as always, please leave any questions in the comments section below or get in touch. Thank you.